Today we're talking to Hallmark newcomer Sierra Marilyn Riley. She's playing one of Hallmark's best new characters, Violet, in Mistletoe Murders. So here we go. This is a really fun interview. You get to know someone who's brand new, not only to Hallmark, but to acting in general, and her story is fascinating. Let's go. This podcast was created by fans for fans and is not affiliated with or sponsored by Hallmark or the Hallmark channel. Well, as everyone knows, we are on our Mistletoe Murder train, and last week we talked to Sam, and this week we are talking to Violet, Sierra Marilyn Riley. How are you doing, Sierra?
I'm good, thanks.
Well,
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
it's going great. Thank you very much for joining. We are making our rounds of the cast, and we couldn't be more delighted to have you on for a couple of reasons. One, we obviously love the show and love your character, but two, you're kind of new to this whole game, so a lot of people don't really know you, or we haven't been in a lot of stuff yet. So why don't you just take a moment and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into acting, and I don't know, your childhood dreams and all that fun stuff. Let us get to know you.
Well, I am an actor and a writer. And when I was a kid, my childhood dream was very specifically to be an actress slash author.
Uh,
The slash was really important to me. um, and I've been doing theater since I was a kid and writing my own little plays and putting up skits that probably annoyed everyone in my family because they were incessant. And I never really grew out of it. I've loved it ever since. And yeah, being a part of this show is basically a dream come true because I'm also very sincerely a Christmas fanatic. So this was the perfect fit.
okay, so you would not be hating if you had a job at Under the Mistletoe in real life.
No, I would love that. I would love that for real.
Would you be a little more trustworthy with the keys?
Yeah. Um, but you know what? I have had a violent moment. I lost my key card at one of my early jobs. So it happened to me.
It, it happens. Okay. Well, we were saying like you haven't been in much, and if you go to IMDb, and yet we got scolded by Mary Lou Henner for looking at IMDb being the truth. But according to IMDb, this is your first acting credit. So, and it's usually when someone comes in, you see him as like, I don't know, unnamed store person or something like that, right? Not a primary character. So tell us a little bit about like what your audition was like. How did you like, say, "Hey, I'm just skipping all that little stuff. I'm going right to the top."
Well, yeah, it it was incredible and not what it's something you really hope for, but nothing you can ever count on. Um, and yeah, I auditioned in this room, did a little self tape for the role of Anna initially, actually. And she's in episode 1 and 2, working at the Christmas tree farm. But shortly after I submitted that to Larissa Mayer and Colleen Rush, the casting directors, they sent an email to my agents. Shout out to Connect Creative, Nigel, Dan, and Yvonne. They're the reason why I got my foot in the door in the first place, and they sent me so many awesome auditions. And they asked for me to read for Violet, and I got a call back, and it worked out, and it was just the biggest treat ever. My whole family was and still are like losing their minds with joy that this happened. So
Well, you had to have a damn good audition though, going from Anna, who was, kind of a primary role for that first murder, but to Violet. So they must have saw something and just said, "Wait a minute, she's it."
yeah,
So,
they
like,
saw Violet in me.
what did you, was it just, did you just read some Anna lines and you just killed it? Or was there something special you did in this audition?
I don't really know what went into the specific decision-making process other than I guess they saw, yeah, something in me that they thought might click with the role of Violet. And I'm really happy because I love Violet. I loved it. I love Anna too. And Diana plays her so well. But I was really excited to audition for Violet as well because she's such a fun character.
And you sort of said it too, is now did you said you're doing plays and things like that. Do you have a fairly strong play resume then that's allowed you to get these resumes? Because usually I don't know the business, but it seems like, and this will sound harsh, I don't want to say a nobody, but an unknown, all of
No,
a
it's
sudden
okay.
like, hey, come on in for the thing and getting right in there, right?
No,
So
I'm very, I know I'm a nobody really, and
no,
I'm
you're an
just
everybody.
honored to be here. But yeah, no, I studied theater at school. And I did some, amateur plays. Me and my friends did little plays, did fringe festivals, that kind of thing. Never anything huge. I had a couple commercials under my belt and, auditioning. And within one month, I heard about two roles in a row, Violet and another one for a show that isn't out yet. And it felt like magic, really.
Well, I have to say, like, obviously we love you, so you know what you're doing, and that's probably it. Your talent just came through and all that. So, but it's a fantastic story. I mean, I guess it's for everybody who's aspiring. Well, either everyone's going to be totally inspired by you, or everyone's going to hate you because they're like, damn it,
Yeah,
I've been doing this, whatever. So, but
please don't hate me.
kudos, yeah, kudos. I mean, it's fantastic. So, way to go. All right. One of the things we do is we ask a couple icebreakers just to get to know you a little, have a little fun with it. So, first question is going to be is, oh wait, I guess my first question now, based on your there, we're going to improv. Are you drinking coffee or tea? What are you drinking? Or are you drinking
So
some crazy thing in there in that
no,
mug?
it's it's right now we've got winter Earl Grey going on. But I am very much a coffee person, but I'm also, if I have too much caffeine, I am like buzzing. So we're
Well,
on the Earl Grey
I've
today.
got the Earl Grey in my mug going as well. So cheers.
Cheers.
I made myself a London fog this morning. So
Lovely.
my well, what happened is I got like this little tea. What do you call I guess the thing where you just put loose leaf tea in, right? But you can't
Mhm.
find loose leaf tea anywhere. So I told my daughter, I'm like, hey, get me some. So she went on Amazon and got me a tin of Earl Grey that I was expecting to be, I don't know, a little thing. And instead I have this vat that's going to pretty much last me until the apocalypse. So I've been drinking a lot of Earl Grey, which pretty good. I put a little bit of honey, a little bit of vanilla in and delish. So,
You're
okay.
telling me you're not tired of it yet.
So
You're a
no,
true Earl Grey fan.
it's nice. Okay, well, let's get back to the actual real icebreakers.
Mhm.
So what are you binging these days? Or are you even like, or are you
I
not a
love
TV
TV.
watcher?
I watch TV probably too much. Right now I'm binging Downton Abbey. Um,
We're going back in time
I
then.
hadn't watched it
Well,
before. My
literally.
mom had when I was growing up. Yeah, and I love it. I'm
Wait,
about halfway through. I'm going to be sad when it's over, but yeah, I'm loving it.
where is it on one of like the major streaming things or you have I
In
don't know.
Canada, it's on Netflix.
Okay. It may be on here as well. I don't know. Because I watched it back when it was going on. So very good series. Very good series.
I love it.
Okay. Now I guess you went back in time with your show you're watching there. But if you had access to a time machine, where are you going?
Downton Abbey's on the mind, and I would probably do. Of course, the war. I don't really want to be a part of the negative parts of the 1910s, the early 1900s. But wouldn't I love to be a lady in one of those houses for a day? I would.
Uh, It's a magnificent house, though it does take you probably, from what you can gather, being a woman, probably about, I don't know, half hour to get dressed with help. So
Yeah, I don't.
little tougher morning routine probably.
I couldn't throw on a turtleneck and call it a morning. I could do it for a day and have a good time.
Well, you just be one of the progressive women who was breaking the rules and going for women to vote kind of stuff.
Yes.
Right. Well, what is one of your guilty pleasures other than your Earl Grey?
Um, I do. guilty wise, I do love reality TV. But honestly, I'm not that guilty about it. I'm kind of proud. Survivor right now, um, I'm tuning in on the regular.
So
Um,
you're on the more game showy type reality,
I
not
will
the Real
also do,
Housewife type.
yeah, I am more game showy. I do appreciate the Real Housewives when they make a an appearance on a reality show, like The Traders. Have you watched that?
I have not.
If you like reality game shows, The Traders is very fun. It's like a murder mystery, and they get people from various reality TV shows to take part in it. It's great.
All right, we'll go on that recommendation and give it a go. Give it a go. Okay, so you are right now at the beginning of your acting career. So what actors out there that are, established ones that you just really admire?
So many, and some of whom I got to work with on this show. Um, but besides them, I love Kirsten Dunst. I'm also watching right now Arcane, which is an animated Netflix show, but one of the voice actors, she's Haley Steinfeld. And when I was young, she was in True Grit, and she was young
Yeah.
at the time too. And she got the Oscar nomination. And when I was young, I was like, I want to be her so bad. And that's still where I'm at. I still love her so
I
much.
think you kind of can relate to her because wasn't that like her first role, I believe, too? So coming
Yes.
right out of the gates.
Yeah, I know. She's awesome. And she's, kept her career going, working on awesome projects and stuff.
Well, Mistletoe Murders can't get you an Oscar, and it doesn't get
Yeah.
an Emmy because it's up there, I assume it can't. I don't know. I don't even know if the Hallmark movies can get Emmys or not, but what's the Canadian version of an Emmy? Like, what's the
I think
actor award up there?
um up here we have some Canadian Screen Awards, and we have like various different awards.
All right.
I do think Canadian productions can be nominated for Emmys. I think even Hallmark, they didn't end up getting the nomination, but I think there was the Emmys for your consideration for The Way Home
Okay.
last year. I think I remember seeing that. So they're they're doing it.
Well, if that's the case, then we
That's a
wish
great
you an
show.
Emmy.
Yeah, imagine. I'm not holding my breath, but you it's incredible to like even when we were watching the Emmys this year, actually, my family or my partner's family, there were he has some little cousins, and she said, Sierra, will you get to go to the Emmys next year? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just very sweet to even think of myself as being on TV at this point. I'm still like wrapping my head around that. When I see myself on screen, I mean, part of me is like very self-critical, but the majority of me is just really excited and feels like, all my dreams are coming true.
You're about my daughter's age, so I have a question. Were you a like huge Grey's Anatomy fan, so you knew Sarah Drew from her doctor role there?
I was literally, when I got the call from my agent, watching Grey's Anatomy. Uh, and I got the call, and I was ecstatic. Obviously, we paused the TV, and he said, "Okay, we're sending you over the script now. Looks like Sarah Drew is the lead." I was like, this. It felt so perfect. So many parts of this felt to me like destiny or something. I was ecstatic to meet Sarah and get to work with her. Sometimes when we were in a scene, watching her work, I almost felt like I was watching her on TV, and I was like, "What? I'm acting with you." Yeah, she's incredible.
Well, I said it before, but I'll say it again. But my daughter, while she doesn't think her dad is the coolest ever for having a Hallmark podcast, when I said Sarah Drew, I was talking to Sarah Drew, and she's like, "Wait, what?" And her whole world just exploded, and all of a sudden, I elevated. So
I'm
I'm a very
happy.
big I didn't watch Grey's Anatomy, so I feel kind of bad, but I'm a very big Sarah Drew fan now because she got me in the cool zone with my daughter. So you work on at the Under the Mistletoe. What is your like craziest job you had growing up, or it could just be the most fun? Because I think working in a 365-day Christmas store is nuts, but good nuts, right?
Yeah, I would love it. When I was on set, like the set deck team did such an amazing job. It felt so real. And I loved it. Even though it was, in the middle of summer, I was in the Christmas spirit. But one of the funnest jobs, two of them, I worked at the library for several years and I loved it because I love books. But also I worked at American Girl for a summer. And so I did doll hair, and it was quite a fun job, getting to do doll hair for a summer.
So you're a librarian. Are you like have a very good shh?
Yeah, I was never a librarian because you need like a full degree for that. But
So you weren't allowed to
I
shush
did
people?
I did deploy a couple shushes, but it was more like, would you mind lowering your voice? Thank you so much.
Okay.
I
See,
kind of wish I got in a wicked shush in
yes,
there at least once.
yes. A librarian shush is one of the like most feared things ever. So
Powerful.
yeah. Did you listen to the Audible version of Mistletoe before you took on the
Yeah,
gig?
I listened to when I auditioned slash got the role. I listened to the first season of the Audible series and Head Spinner. They're also working on this show. I loved the Audible. I loved it. I stopped listening though at season after season one. I listened to a little bit of season two, but I didn't want to get too in my head because Anna Cathcart plays Violet. She did such an amazing
Yes,
job.
she
And it's
does.
also to me surreal also to even be like playing the same role as her. But I didn't want to play it the same way. So I kind of stopped myself so I wouldn't get it in my head, like that cadence of speaking or whatever. I wanted to be able to like not be too in my head about that and put more of me into Violet. So I listened to season one and I stopped myself, even though I was very compelled to keep listening because the Audible series is so good.
I agree. And yes, Violet, Anna does a fantastic job. Well, what's funny is you say you didn't want to get in your head with the cadence, and I don't want to say you like mimic her, but I think you do because as I said, it's one of my favorite roles, and it wasn't through the whole Audible as well. And I think you've done a great job of sort of, like you say, your twist on it, but having that same spirit. Because I'll be honest, I went into it going, oh, Violet's going to get ruined. It's going to ruin it for me. I'm not going to like the series because this character is such a high standard. And you nailed it. And it's like just that little way, the back and forward that you can volley with Emily, which Anna does great with Colby. I think you do very well similarly with Sarah. So
Thank you. Yeah, I'm,
kudos.
I'm glad you didn't hate Violet in the show. I'm glad.
Like I said,
I'm
it's
glad
well,
that.
when you say it's, I don't want to say you're doing a remake of it because you're obviously it's a whole different thing. But when there is someone who set a standard, you kind of like, right? It can be a little tough.
Yeah, totally. I think it does help too that the show does depart from the podcast. So there are like some differences that you can kind of groove with in that direction. Um, so there was like an openness, but was very aware. I was like, oh, Anna did it so well. So that's why I stopped myself because I was like, I don't want to get too in my head about this. I want to
But
just like
did you take anything from how she did it, or did you say, okay, I just have to stop and totally cleanse myself and go at it my way?
I think Violet is a very similar character in both of the Audible and the TV series. Um, I think she has like the same enthusiasm, some snarky moments. So I think the spirit of the character is very much the same. Just some differences here and there. But she did Anna Cathcart did such an amazing job. I used to love, I don't know if you watched To All the Boys I Loved before, I would say those
I'm 57. What do you think?
I feel like you could enjoy them. I would
All right.
suggest that you watch them. They are, well, especially the first one is my favorite. And then she has her own show, XO Kitty, and I'm ready for season two. I do watch a lot of TV. All
Well, a little excitement for you when you get back into listening to it. In season three, one of the, I guess it's not episodes, because it's two, or it goes a couple, but she's the main sleuth in it, which is fantastic. So maybe when,
I I should listen. I want to listen. I do. Will listen at some point because I actually just as a listener want to hear what Violet like gets up to in that world and um also what happens between um Emily and Sam over there.
oh, it happens.
Watching this I am like the biggest fan of their relationship. I I didn't get to see any of their romantic or like flirty or even their like more head buddy
Right.
scenes. So watching them, they have such amazing chemistry. It almost does feel like watching your parents like dating or something because but I ship them in the show. I'm very much on the fan side of it as well.
One of my favorite lines from the podcast, and I'm so glad that it carried over into the your version, was when at the beginning Sam comes in and like sort of pulls her away and talks to her, and like Violet says, "Oh, what did you talk about?" And he's like, kind of cop stuff, stay away. And then you're like, "Don't worry, I'll just ask Emily as soon as you leave." One of my
Yeah,
favorite lines, and Anna killed it, you killed it, so fantastic. All right, let's
thank
move
you.
on. Have you been able to watch, because you're up in Canada and everything, have you been able to see the finished product?
Yes, I've seen most episodes, not all of them. And it's great. I genuinely love it. It's you're and everyone's in for a treat for what is to come as well.
That's what we heard. By the time, let's see, when this airs, we'll have had the first episode of the new one. So
Yeah,
we will
I
see.
got when I went in for ADR to like record my lines, watching the little clips. I was seeing the show in mini clips of just me, but it was pretty magical. And one day I overlapped with one of the producers, Michelle, and she was in to do a color correct session with the post production supervisor, Howard. And they were very kind. They know that I'm quite green and eager to learn everything. And they invited me to sit in. So that's how I got to watch a couple more episodes. And it was pretty spectacular. I feel so proud to even be a part of it because I'm genuinely invested in like all the storylines, all the murders, and
It's fantastic. We talked about this with Peter. The production, the writing, the acting, the scenery, like everything. It is very, I don't want to say not Hallmarky because I love Hallmark movies, obviously, but it's just elevated. So
yeah, exactly. It's really gorgeous. Every element of it.
well,
It does.
you're kind of spoiled starting up there, right? Now your next
I
one will
know.
be like, oh, come on, this isn't how we did it, Mistletoe. All right, let's go back and we talked about a little time machine. Let's go back and think about like that first day when you walk on. You're like, I am a professional actor walking onto a set. You have your chair, you have a trailer. I assume you have all that like stuff, and then you're going on cameras, hundreds of people around, crew. What was that day like for you? Were you just like overwhelmed, intimidated? Were you like, oh, I got this? Just take us back.
They eased me into it. They scheduled the filming very well. The production coordination was like impeccable, and my first day was quite an easy day. And I do believe that was that may have been orchestrated intentionally, because everyone knew that I was new, and I was nervous, but so excited, seeing the trailer, being in there, trying on the costumes. And my first day was it was to take photos with Peter. We had like a little father-daughter photo shoot. And the pictures, I don't know if they ended up in the show. I think they were supposed to be like in his office. And he and I were just basically hanging out. And Peter Sam is the best TV dad that I could ask for. I really lucked out, like the best TV boss in the world and the best TV dad in the world. So that day we were just like hanging out on a farm, taking pictures. Everyone was so kind. So my nerves were very quickly eased. I was super, super nervous, wanting to not mess anything up. But the first day was just pictures and everyone just kind of extending a lot of kindness, and me and Peter just having some laughs on a farm. So it was a good way to start.
Do you have any moments when you're filming and you're delivering your lines in the back of your head, you're like, oh my God, I am like across from Serge or Peter Mooney on the set of this major production, whatever, like in the back of your head, just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it didn't usually happen in the middle of a scene because you're so busy like doing the thing. But afterwards or before, it was very surreal. Like even looking back on the monitor, and it was very surreal. And they were both such joys to work with. Sarah Drew, she was kind of like a mentor in some ways, and she's a friend, and I'm going to cherish that friendship for like my whole life. She's really so kind and so much fun. And Peter, yeah, was like, we really, I think, developed like a special friendship as well. And he's hilarious. Like, you're laughing all the time when you're not filming.
Was there anything going through the experience now? Like, you obviously you went into it with some sort of expectation of what you thought it was going to be, but now that you've wrapped it up and filmed all of them, was there anything that was like completely unexpected about what it's like to film a series?
I was really nervous, and what pleasantly surprised me was how quickly we formed a little community on set. The cast and crew, everybody working on that show was like such a professional. Everyone was like working at an incredibly high level, but at the same time so generous, so kind, um, just really great people. And I think that was what pleasantly surprised me, was how close I felt to everyone so quickly.
Well, one of the things, and we talked about touch a little bit earlier, is Emily and Violet just have such great chemistry. Now, part of it is, yes, you're blessed with wrote great characters with great dialogue and all that. But just because the words are on paper doesn't really always necessarily say they're going to have this. Just like you say, it's more, well, she's your boss, she's not your boss, she's a friend. You have like this great relationship between the two of you. What do you think it is that allows you two to have just this amazing chemistry?
Yeah, it is, a combination of the talents of everyone, all the directors, all the writers who worked on this, Ken creating the characters, and also, the sets you're in, the costumes you're in, everything just feeling so right. And then there's Sarah, who was just like a dream scene partner. She was so great to work with, and it felt really natural. Like having that rapport with her just came really naturally to us. And I'm glad that you felt like that it's enjoyable to watch those little back and forth moments, because it felt so much fun when we were filming them.
Well, yeah, they're just a joy because you're right. Violet has like a little snarkiness, but it's not a annoying snarkiness. It's a funny one, just the way the banter with whoever it's with. But and then with Sarah, it's or Emily, I guess, it's just a really great dynamic there. Well,
Thank you. Yeah, she's so talented, and same with Peter, like in the father-daughter scenes. Like they're both such incredible actors.
Well, speaking of Sam, your TV dad, he's supposed to be this great dad that you talk about. Yet for father-daughter like date night, he suggested you guys go down to the bar and go get spiked hot chocolate. So, like, should we be calling CPS as maybe Sam's idea of parenting a little bit different because Violet's what I think she's like 16, 17, right? She's
Yeah, she's
not
not
supposed to
old
be
enough to
drinking
have
spiked hot
alcohol.
chocolate.
I don't was it spiked? It
Yeah.
was in this very cute little cafe, little hot chocolate cafe. Um and I don't think Violet would have gotten her spiked one. I think you, especially with a dad like Sam, who's
All
a
right.
cop, I don't think she was going to get away with anything too risque.
Well, I thought I didn't know. I thought maybe he's just here, have this, you can go to sleep so I can go out and do shenanigans all night that as Violet passes out. So okay, we'll give Peter a pass. We're not calling CPS on him right now.
Yes, he's a good Sam's a good dad.
Well, when we talked to him, he said when we asked like one of the things about the acting, he said that the hardest thing of this production was that it was filmed in the middle of the summer and it was rather toasty, and yet you guys are in Christmas season in Christmas attire, and that you're just roasting, sweating, trying to look all cold and chilly. And he had this ice vest, but he said that you had another technique you were using to keep cool. So
Oh,
what were
did
you
he?
doing to keep
Uh,
cool?
well, I occasionally used an ice pack. The fans is that what he mentioned? The
He
fans?
he just said he had an ice pack or he had an ice
Oh,
vest, but you guys did something different. I don't know what it was.
so the costume team is on it and they are making sure that you're okay because they're aware that it's like 30 degrees and you're in a parka and a sweater and a layer underneath that. So we had fans, ice packs. Yeah, Peter had his ice vest and lots of water. And it was a fun time and it was a warm time.
Do you agree that was probably one of the hardest parts of the acting was trying to present yourself as not roasting and miserable and instead chilly and miserable?
Yeah, it you can see Emily in the show, Sarah, like shivering. And watching her shiver, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta be very cold right now, even though like every pore in my body is producing buckets of sweat. So it was definitely a challenge and quite a learning experience to kind of remember, okay, yeah, it's cold, it's winter.
One of the other things is you guys at the end of the first episode, well, I guess it's the second episode, first mystery, you are cutting to, he took you to karaoke night. Well, I guess you wanted to go to karaoke and you guys are singing away, but they're playing music over you guys. He does not remember what song you were actually singing. Do you?
I do, yes. I remember because I was nervous. That was also one of my first days. And I remember Peter wanted to sing a fairy tale in New York. And I didn't know the words to that. And I was like, I don't think I can do that, Peter. But then the director came up to us, Grant, and he said, you're going to do Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And I was, thank goodness, because I know that one. And we had but still, Peter didn't know the words as much to that one. We both messed up, I'd say a couple times on what word is it? Rocking around the Christmas tree at the Christmas. Okay, at the Christmas party, blank. What word would you fill in there? Rocking
I
around.
don't even know the song at all. So
Oh well,
I am
it's
not the one to.
it was up for debate whether it was Christmas party bop or Christmas party hop. So that's why it's
I
stuck in my
think
head.
bop sounds good to me.
Well, then I'm with you. I still don't know the answer, but I'll go on saying Christmas Party Bop.
Yeah, I like that. Well, in his mind, he said in his mind he's a good singer, but probably in not other people's minds. Where are
Yeah,
you?
he's good.
Are you can you sing? You sounded pretty
I
good right there.
thank you. I used to want to also, you know how I said I wanted to be an
A,
actor
sl-
slash
a
author. For a
slash.
while, I had slash singer as well. I wanted to be Taylor Swift. It didn't happen, and I think my sister is a much better singer than me. So I think I always just accepted my fate as not a great singer, but not the worst in the world. I can carry a little tune.
We were surprised when Sarah sang in the choir and all of a sudden started belting it out. I was like, wait, what? So at first
Yeah, she's
I was like, is this fake? Is she lip syncing? And I'm like, that's not lip syncing.
she's great. She's a good singer, and between takes, occasionally she would burst into a little show tune, and it was a treat for all.
There's an epic custody battle going on between Emily wanting to adopt you or Sam fighting to keep custody of his daughter. Now, are you going with sticking with your dad who tried taking you to the bar or sneaks out at night to go solve murders, leaving you up to your own shenanigans, hanging out with hoodlum high school kids? Or are you going to go with Emily, who is super supportive, empowering of you, and when you lose the keys, instead of getting mad, she uses it as a teaching moment. So, of those two, who are you choosing?
I can tell who you think is the right choice. I think Violet and I love Sam and Emily for different reasons. Although we're not quite at the new mommy stage of things yet, or I don't know. I don't know what is to happen as much as anyone else does. But I think she Violet has a really special relationship with Sam, where he is a little bit of a like strict, not super strict, but like you know he's a little bit of a square, I think, in her eyes. Whereas Emily's kind of cooler, but also a little bit of a nerd, a dork
Yeah.
with but like she owns it. So I think Violet respects that. So I think she has a special relationship to both of them and will continue that way.
Okay, we can go with that. And I give Sam a little bit of crap, but he's a good guy. And like I said, when I talked to Peter, he was absolutely fantastic, a great individual, great
Who are
individual.
your favorite characters? Like
I told you,
your
it's Violet.
I am happy.
It
Thank you.
she is just I love the snark. I hope I- not that we are the the biggest influence on the planet, but we are obviously on a mission that we definitely want a season two. We are talking to Ken as well. We just got
Oh,
that.
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just got that hooked up. And I am going to be very hard pushing him to bring in, like I told you in the Audible season three, where Violet is sort of the showcase of one of the little mysteries, that I'll be pushing that because it's such a great character. Like kids, teenagers are a really hard one to, I think, write and also act. And when you nail it, take full advantage of it. Though the one thing that is going kind of unfortunately is there is time, right? And seasons take a while, and Violet can't stay being 17 forever, but we'll see. So Violet goes off to college, right?
Yes, yeah. But you always come home for Christmas. I'm not
I don't
too
know if you're going to want to be coming to Fletcher Groves, considering all the murders that take place there. It's a pretty dangerous place. You may do better going to like Memphis or Chicago or some of these safer cities than Fletcher Grove. Lower murder rate there.
You're gonna have fun talking to Ken. He's he's
Well,
he's great.
the funny thing is, since I got turned on to the Audible like well before this happened, I loved the Audible that I would have loved to talk to him, a year ago or two. So yeah, so I am excited.
Yeah, the Audible series is so popular. It's something like the top Audible podcast on the service or
Yep.
something like
So
that. Don't quote me, but it's something like that.
we had one of our listeners has sent me a message telling me about it before. saying, "Oh, you got to listen to this Audible for it." And I was like, "Really?" And I was kind of going into it, come on, it can't be that good. And then yes, like listen to an episode or two, and all of a sudden you're hooked. And I'm like sitting there. I remember sitting in the parking lot of the grocery store, wanting for this episode to like get to the next scene, just sitting there waiting, and I couldn't like get out of the car until that's how enamored I was with it.
Yeah, it gets you hooked real quick. And all the actors are phenomenal. A couple of them are also in the show, which is cool. Um, yeah,
What
there's a great team.
the show's doing the same hook there. Well, do you
Mm.
have any fun behind the scenes stories that you can share?
It was a very good time consistently. But one thing that recently happened that I only put together um, when I watched the show, when I watched the first episode or second episode, um, was how Emily, is trying to buy time in the tree farm, and she finds these postcards, and
All
she's
right.
like, oh, yeah, I'll get some of this for my writing club. And one of my favorite jokes in the whole series is when Famous Ray pulls out his card from her, and it's the same. It's like the riding club card. Um, I didn't see any of that. I wasn't at the Christmas tree farm. I didn't see the card. So it was just when I watched the first episode that I put together that, and I have it here.
Oh, you had
Um,
the actual card?
at the card Michelle
Love
and
it.
Ken gave me at the wrap, like when we wrapped, they gave me a little thank you card. And I just thought it was a cute card at the time. And then I watched the show and I'm like, that's my card. Um, I got a good laugh when I realized it. And I died at that part of the show, and he pulls out his card and he's like, what is she giving me? Because they're both like kind of, he's a little bit of a shady character, like
A
a
little?
lovable character.
Yeah. He's a lot shady, but yeah. Well, they do, and we talk about it with Peter. They have the line of the whole series with game recognized game.
Yes,
It's a
I
shame you didn't get that one to get to deliver that one because that is brilliant. And I used it actually on my wife the other day. I was like, this is so
I
good.
I bring it up. Me and my boyfriend, we'll deploy a little Mistletoe Murders quote here and there. There are a lot of quotables. It's great scripts.
It is very good writing. Well, we talked about a little bit earlier that you are actor slash writer, and I was reading, you have a novel, I believe it is, coming out next
Yeah.
year, and there was an international bidding war that every major publisher was just throwing billions of dollars towards the rights for it, or something like that, give or take.
Well, I love your interpretation of
But
that,
tell us a
of
little bit
those
about
events.
that.
um, that I would love for $1 billion bidding war to occur, but I'm grateful for what happened on the more modest side, which was yeah, I wrote a book. It's a YA novel, and it's coming out with Annick Press, which is a Canadian publisher. And they publish Robert Munsch. You know Robert Munsch?
I do not.
Like I Love You Forever. Anyway, they're an independent children's publisher out here in Canada, but it will be out in the States too. And it's called the Dark Cove Theater Society. It's about a young girl who's at an arts boarding school in the Pacific Northwest, and she's finding herself as she kind of gets caught up in this underground and very prestigious theater club. So it combines my loves of acting and writing. I love it. I hope other people do. Comes out next fall.
Excellent. So it's a little, like you say, theater school thing. Did you go to a prestigious theater school? And so it's a little, is there a little, obviously not, I'm assuming autobiographical that you had murders or whatever it is really going down, but is there like some of you in this book?
Yes, there is. So this is a YA, like a teen
Yeah.
book. I drew from a lot of my experiences in high school, and studying theater after high school as well. I didn't go to a theater school or an art school in high school, but in the book there's a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I did that in high school. I played Hermia, and it was I definitely drew from some of those experiences when writing it. And I named, actually, this is one of those other things that made me feel like getting Mistletoe Murders was fate. I named the character in my book after my Nana, and her name is Violet. Um,
Seriously.
yeah, so the lead character in my book is named Violet. My Nana also loved, what's the show called? With Angela Fletcher.
Oh, Murder,
That
She
Fletcher,
Wrote.
yes, Murder She Wrote. My Nana loved that show. And Fletcher's Grove is named after Murder She Wrote.
Right.
So it all just felt like such fate. But yes, I put a lot of myself into the book, and I kind of wrote it for my younger self and like teenagers who are kind of in the arts world that are just figuring themselves out. It can feel like a lot, I think, but also it's very fun.
So with writing, how long of a process is this, like something you've been noodling for years and years, or is it you sat down and said, "Hey, I'm writing this. I got this idea. I'm writing the book," and off it went?
Yeah, I have always written, but this project actually, I only started it, this book. I only started writing it in 2023. It was in the spring. I was in Portland and I loved Portland. And I had also been living in Vancouver, so I had the Pacific Northwest vibes on the brain. And the idea came to me as if by magic, it felt like. And I just started writing it. I had some time on my hands, and I just spent most of my free time writing it. And I connected with the publisher, Anik Press, that fall, and we signed the contract. Again, it was within that same month that I heard back about Mistletoe Murders. It was like a life-changing month for me.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
great story.
yeah,
Seriously,
it really
it's
does. It really felt like,
I I really feel for all the adversity that you've had to overcome for the success in your writing and uh, film career here. Just brilliance right out of the gate.
thank you. Yeah, it feels really, I'm really grateful that I have had these opportunities work out this year and hopefully going forward.
Is this a book that you think rolls into a series type thing, or is it kind of wrap up?
We don't know yet. I have a couple ideas for kind of an anthology series, like different stories within the same world, but we're not there yet in that conversation. It might come later. We'll see.
Okay. Well, when you do the audio book, you could do the voice of it too.
I That would be so fun. That would be really cool. Well, I'm excited about the audiobook. I said I do want to kind of be involved in that creation of that. So we'll see.
Well, now that you know Ken, you know he obviously knows the Audible world, so there you go.
Yeah, I have so much to learn from like everybody on this set, and thankfully, they're all really happy to impart their wisdom on me.
Well, you have anything coming up? You hinted that you had another audition. You maybe not be able to say exactly what it is, but is it happening or
Yeah, I can't say really, but it's gonna come out I think next year.
okay?
Yes.
It's
I don't know what I can say, so I'll just say coming soon to a TV near you.
excellent. It's got to be exciting. Well,
Yeah. Oh, I'm like a broken record, basically, just like pinch me, pinch me, pinch me. It's exciting.
well, as I said, we are completely committed to getting a season two of Mistletoe Murders. You have been absolutely delightful to chat with, so wish you all the best. Seems like like I say, hope everything keeps going in the same trajectory because it seems like a fantastic journey that you're on.
Yeah, fingers are crossed. And yeah, I'm really glad that you guys enjoy the show. because I do too. I think it's pretty special. It's great.
Well, you enjoy your tea and have a spectacular day. Is it chilly up there right now, by the way?
Yeah, it's not the worst it's gonna get, but it's nippy out.
Okay. Because I saw in the Midwest it was snowing down there, but my daughter lives in Boston and she said it was like 50 and raining. So I don't know where Toronto sort of lies.
We're closer to
Around it.
the Boston area. It's
Right.
rainy and there's a chill in the air, but we haven't gotten the snow yet. I'm quite excited to get the snow. I love snow until end of January, and then I'm tired of it. But I
Right.
love it at Christmas time, a white Christmas.
I remember those days. Well, have a great day, Sierra.
You too. It was so nice chatting.
Bye.
Bye.